Welcome to Fusing the Unfusable. I'm your co-host.
I'm the co-host of Fusing the Unfusable podcast. What should we do now?
I don't know.
Should we ask me each other questions? Yeah,
Why don't you go first?
Yeah, welcome to Fusing the Unfusable. Karim, it's really nice to have you in the podcast. And as we discussed, we will be asking each other questions. But I really want to know, first of all, how come you have so radiophonic voice? Your voice is really like you were working on the radio, something like that.
That's what I've been told, but this is the first time that I'm hosting. So let's see what the audience says about my voice.
Okay. Please say in comments what you think about the voice. And this is the legendary microphone of for the radio stations. Shure SM7B, which is a legend. And if your voice is good in person, and this mic will even add on that. Quality of the sound. Yeah, but we're not here to talk about microphones. We're here to talk about Web3 in general, blockchain, crypto, and so on. So how you were drawn to the Web3 world? Was it some kind of investment? Was it tech? Was it community or all?
Man, it was during the pandemic, and I read a book as I drive a lot, so I listen to audiobooks, and it was a book, I don't know how it landed, it's called Fake by Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay.
And the whole book, he describes how money is fake, and that real money is God's money, is gold and silver. By the way, he's a big investor in Bitcoin. But at the time of that book, he wasn't talking about Bitcoin. So it was that plus what was happening with the money that they were printing in the US especially. And it just
without
made
any
me,
gold reserves.
Yeah, without any gold. Well, the gold standard was gone years ago, right? And they were just printing money, and realizing, and inflation was happening with the logistics issues and everything, and we're still in it. I think the proof is that the U.S. has now interest rate. The interest on their loans is $1 trillion a year. That's what they pay in interest on their $34 trillion debt.
Yeah.
And just this thought about how governments print money, plus the fact that I have roots in Lebanon and what happened there with the devaluation of the currency and the banking crisis, Venezuela. I also lived in Haiti. So I had all this kind of legacy history and seeing mismanagement of funds, and it just drew me to it. Now, I've been in technology for a long time, but I never had a friend who showed me how to create a wallet and buy some Bitcoin. I wish I had. But like they say, the best time is now. So, so after a few conversations, I ended up investing in some Cardano and some Bitcoin. And then I basically took all the free time I had to study it, courses at universities, INSEAD, St. Peter, the great university, I think, University of Buffalo, everything I could find, every book. One of my favorite authors is Don Tapscott. He's a professor. He's also the founder of the Blockchain Research Institute. His book, I've read his book, his son's book, which is called Web3, really good, recommended. His book is called, they co-wrote it together, Blockchain Revolution, really good book about use cases. So it's not a technical book. It helps you imagine what the world will look like with Web3. Uber in the Web3 version, electricity company in the Web3 version, and many other use cases.
Okay, can I please ask you to sync with Jovana to have all the links to the books that you mentioned, because I think that would be a really invaluable asset to learn. Because what do you think the adoption of blockchain is in the general public and understanding of blockchain?
I believe it's very, very low. The understanding. There's a lot of people that own. So when we hear people in the industry quote numbers, it's about ownership of crypto, but it's not really. The understanding is not there. When you scratch the surface, you realize that people just are excited about it. They think it's a good investment, or they'd like to make some money. Maybe they just like the fact that it's. As libertarians or anarchists, they can do whatever they want without rules. And like I tell everyone, we're still in the stone age of crypto.
Yes, in the but like I always say, I really, really sincerely do not know how internet works. TCP/IP, I don't know really, but I'm using it every day. So do I have to? Do you think the general public has to know how it works in order to use it, or we can expect that there is some mainstream adoption that people say, okay, blockchain is good. That's all I know. So I will be using the product which uses blockchain.
I think the answer to that question is the less you mention the word blockchain, the better. So people don't need to know. The people using it don't need to know what it is, right? They just need to trust what they're using. But the builders, the people in the background, the ones designing, the thinkers, the thought leaders, have to understand it well in order to design systems that deliver value.
Yeah, we see more and more in that in legislation. Just today, a big thing happened in the US, and very soon, Michael Law is out in Europe, and adoption of an understanding and crypto or blockchain being necessary. Everybody understands that. So when you say people have to trust, what they have to trust, what's that word that we're not mentioning, blockchain. What they need to trust? What's blockchain for general public? Source of trust?
We call it trustless, don't we? It's a trustless system. And I think one of the use cases, say for example, I want to procure something, and I don't know the manufacturer. I could use a smart contract in the future in order to procure it, where I pay, it goes into escrow. The smart contract holds the escrow. When the manufacturer proves that whatever I ordered meets the specifications and it actually ships, then the escrow releases the funds, right? So if I had to do it without that, I would have to either have an agent, I would have to fly to the location, I would have to go over certificates, ISO certificates, and to confirm that they're real. And so the future, it's exciting. The future looks exciting with crypto and blockchain. We're just, like I said, when I said we're at the Stone Age, it's because we still don't know what it's going to look like. We're right now playing around like kids with toys, and we don't know what we're building. But eventually, something's going to come out on the other end.
Okay, so you don't have to know how it works. You just have to trust it, that it gives a certain level of security, compliance, and also the it cannot be erased. Like it's there forever, is it? Like chain is bigger and bigger, yeah?
Yeah, I mean that idea of immutability, right? The fact that nobody can change it and it's there forever is something to reckon with, right? To accept. And there's going to be a lot of new blockchains that are going to be ephemeral or temporary, right? So not all blockchains need to be permanent forever. The blockchain will fulfill a purpose, and then it will be changed for another one.
And by your opinion, obviously you read a lot of books, went to courses, and so, and you have a technical background, which is important for understanding technical issue. Why we still do not have a mainstream use case of blockchain, big mainstream use case of blockchain?
You don't think Bitcoin is a big use case?
It's becoming, as we like.
The biggest adoption that we can, the biggest adoption is ChatGPT. Was it 100 million users in a month?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's a record.
Biggest and
I think
complexity.
complexity. So to go back to your question, do we need to understand it? Do we need to know? No, but it should be less complex, easier to use, and it's our job as technologists, as builders, to make it easier to use. It doesn't mean that they have to understand what happens. Today, you open your laptop, you put something in the search bar, and it looks for it, right? You don't need to have a TCP address. You don't have to, So, and buying, what made Amazon famous and so successful is the speed, one-click buying or two-clicks buying. So we need to make it more user-friendly and yet more secure at the same time. And this idea of custodians, right? Wallets. I think custodians are going to play a big role, where you don't have to be scared that you're going to, misplace your keys, your private keys. You're going to have trusted partners that you can use, and they will custody your assets. And when you need to transact, you're going to be able to use them and ask them to transact. We have to do a better job of securing people's assets and making things easier and safer for them to use.
No, definitely. And also, one question is definitely the speed and the possibility of a number of transactions in the second or in a minute or so at the moment. So this is also Stone Age. Are we also in the Stone Age for that?
Yeah, TPS is a big topic, right? And by nature, the blockchains are slow, right? And that's the what is it, the
challenge?
The challenge, right? How to make it faster. And I think there's some solutions that are coming, some exciting ones where you're going to see high speed. You're going to see high speed, and it's just because we're not looking at it. Sometimes you look at a problem square, and then you just look at it from another angle, and you see something completely different. And the solutions are there. We believe the solutions are there. The world is a multi-chain. The solution is a multi-chain environment. It's not just one blockchain.
Yeah, but now those multi-chains or chains are divided, like some kind of tribes. Yeah,
It's highly tribalistic. It's very siloed, and it's to do with the nature of blockchains and tokens. Everybody's invested in the projects they work in, and they feel that they have to promote their own token. So if they like another token,
they're traitors.
They're traitors, and they're hurting themselves. And this is a problem. And it's going to be fixed.
The solution is coming.
The solution is coming. It's going to be fixed. Interoperability is the magical word here, and there's some very clever people that are coming up with some solutions that hopefully will come to light soon that will resolve this.
Okay, now we saw that Apex Fusion released its light paper and the tokenomics and a lot of comments from the highest levels of authority, I would say. And what is that unique in the Apex Fusion ecosystem?
Wow, I'm very excited about Apex Fusion, and I'm not chilling the token. The people that make up the team are some of the brightest people I've ever worked with, and kindest people. It's like a honeymoon phase.
When people say that it's honeymoon phase, I remember that song. I think it's Luis Prima. Is it "The honeymoon is over and the rest days of our lives are soon"?
What I keep telling the team, I said, expect that at some point somebody's going to say, "Why are we doing this?" or "Why do I need to make this decision?" And we have to be ready to explain why we need to do something, right? And we get into strategic alignment, because we have at Apex Fusion seen that they have an objective, they have a vision, and it's going to be exciting to see how this team the number of partners is just mind-boggling, and
how they react when they hear about the project, because there are like thousands and thousands of projects and even millions of pitches about the projects and ideas, and when you start by saying, "Oh, I'm in some kind of a blockchain project," everybody's like, "Yeah, and what? Do you want me to buy coins?" No, but literally the level of adoption for Apex Fusion at the key opinion leaders with the tech ninjas or tech OGs of the blockchain is massive, if not 100%, like massive.
That's where I'm gonna ask you questions, because I would have loved to see all that you've seen since the beginning with all the partners, since you've been involved in creating all the content. I mean, you know, it must be amazing to have seen that. What are some of the most memorable ones that you've seen?
It's always when we discuss about media, like the as I like to say, as Gary Vee likes to say, it's today every company is a media company first, and then everything what it does, And one of the reasons about that, it's trust, level of trust, which is extremely important in any project, but especially because creating a project at the scale of Apex Fusion or such level projects, it's like creating a nation, a country, because you are creating a currency and full economics or tokenomics of that currency. So the first thing you need is trust. How do you gain trust? In media, you gain it by looking at people. Because if you have an animated video about, oh, this is the project, that's one thing. But if you see people's eyes who are involved in that project, you will gain the level of trust which is unparalleled. So one of the first things that was important to the project was, how do we get as many eyes as we can in front of the camera, in front of the even phones, like we don't insist on the highest level quality. You know what is the best camera for the video? The best one you have at the moment.
The one you have at hand. Yeah.
Imagine you if you see, I don't know, like this girl with the meteorite that crossed. You saw this in Ireland,
I saw that.
It was a shitty phone, and it was all mushy and everything, and now it's viral because her reaction and it was like the sky is blinking at her, they would say in the Netflix series. Anyhow, so it's all about.
That's really interesting. The fact that just to that, because you're there, you're listening, you're filming, you're recording, and you've built a level of trust that is reassuring. It's amazing.
That's for sure. And not only, it's easy if I'm making a project and say, oh, the Fuse, it's the best Web3 platform. It's all about blockchain tech and everything. I can say it. But if the user says that, that's the case. Because in B2B marketing, the strongest power of words is when it comes from your customers. And the strongest thing, and this is maybe advice for all the people who are doing B2B marketing, is ask your customers to tell their stories, because media is all about storytelling. So ask your customers for your gym bags, ask your customers to tell their stories, not the stories, this gym bag is the best, I put everything in my shoes and my towels, and no. What is their story, who they are,
You make me laugh because I train at a gym, and I made them some bags, and there were samples. They were going to order some, and then the CEO that I see train at the gym walks by with my gym bag. He looks at me square in the eyes and he says, "Karim, this is the best damn gym bag I've ever owned."
This is what you need. But you need to catch his story, because he's the CEO of the gym, how he ended up there. This is what people like to hear. And as we like to say to the clients, which they disagree sometimes, but in your videos, tell and do not sell. Tell a story, do not sell a product. This idea of storytelling, we forget sometimes that that's the oldest form of communication. It's before writing, it's before anything. It's how history was recorded and passed on. And
lost because some stories get lost, right? And I was thinking the other day, you know, like jokes. People, there was a time on the internet, everybody was sending jokes, and then suddenly we don't see jokes anymore. And I value people that tell funny jokes, you know. Being surrounded by funny people is a blessing and is fun. But what, you know, what you've built is truly remarkable. And you know, what are some of the challenges you face on a daily basis in terms of, you know, building a media company?
First of all, you know, like we discussed the adoption of the ChatGPT, and we discuss an adoption of, let's say, Tesla vehicles, you know, electric vehicles. They still remind you, Tesla, on regular car. They can be fully, Elon Musk wanted to have it fully different. But because of the adoption, they needed to scale it down, the innovation level of innovation, and they're bringing more and more and more, and really came to the level where general adoption is possible. You know, the early adopters is 6%, and you need 18% of hesitance to bring in. When you bring 18%, then you can
bring the late adopters.
Late adopters. The point is that ChatGPT also. What was ChatGPT? Like MS-DOS, is it? Like black screen and letters. But it showed the power of something unparalleled until now. The same for blockchain. The first solution, first generally adopted solution. When I say generally adopted solution, I mean my parents, you know, like all people, you know, using it, just feeling safe by using it, not knowing how it works and so on. My father uses ChatGPT on a daily basis. He chats, he communicates, he really...
Is it really like his companion? Because I assume he's retired, or he's still working?
Yeah, he's retired. He has his time on his laptop, computer, whatever. He likes to travel the world, Google Earth, whatever. But then, when I introduced him to the artificial intelligence, he was amazed. That is the level of adoption that has to happen. So, obviously, in media, just don't let creative people loose, you know, because all the creativity and everything will go really on the next level. But you have to keep it grounded. You have to keep it, you know. Like today we are, today is a very specific, let's say, age of organic content like never before. What is organic content? Consistently posting on your social media, being there for your audience and asking them to return to hear more of your stories. Again, tell and do not sell, like tell stories, do not sell a product, you know, this is the way the things should go. And I think that Apex Fusion is deserving that kind of communication and level of trust. So we discussed the level of trust, level of adoption. So everybody's talking reels. There are reels, hundreds of reels, you know, like people talking. And also on the Fuse, we are really trying to have that as much as possible.
I'm really amazed at your ability to convert tech people into media superstars.
Podcast superstars.
You know, like the videos that I've seen, and I was like, who are these? Wait, I met these people. These people were amazing. But you know what's interesting, and something that happened recently? I attended a personal branding. Personal branding class by somebody who does podcasts here, but she no longer does it here, Kelly Lundberg. And, you know, thanks to her, I reopened my Instagram and opened it up to the public because she showed us that Elon Musk has his personal page and the Tesla account. Both have the same images, but he has like, I don't know how many
millions,
tens of millions. But nobody cares about companies.
Exactly.
People care about people. You know
Exactly.
what? People are nosy. They want to hear what's going on, what you did, where you went, and that's one element. But I think it's more like you said. It's organic. People want to. They don't want to be sold anything. They want stories.
Okay. So talking about stories, when we discussed first time that you will be hosting this podcast, what was your idea? Like, oh, I will invite this guy. I will invite this guy. I will invite this guy. What's
I don't know. You know, like things are going so fast, right?
Yes.
what was it? Our friend Sava says, one day is like a year, or one day is like a month.
Yeah.
Things went so fast. My wife has been pushing me to have a podcast, and I've been hosted on a couple of podcasts, and I was comfortable. What's funny is recently I was on Shark Tank, Dubai Shark Tank, and I remember the studio. I was in there when I was a child, and there was a quiz. Somehow, our school, and this is like 80s, late 70s, 80s, I ended up in that same studio. It's funny to be back in that same studio again. So, I don't know. I don't think I have an aversion to speaking in public. I've emceed concerts. I've done things, and I'm usually comfortable speaking in public. So I wasn't scared about it, but I know how impactful it is. It's become a very important medium, right? More than a channel, it's a medium, and I consume a lot of it. I have my favorite, it used to be a podcast that I would listen to. Now I watch them.
And now you host them.
And now I host them. Yeah. Thanks to you.
I wish you all the best in hosting the show. I'll be there to support, and let's have from time to time this kind of discussions.
I welcome that. It's like our coffee in the morning.
Yes, let's do that.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being my guest.
Thank you for being my guest.
And host.